House Republicans on not one, but 3 House committees are launching a joint investigation into the years-long Hunter Biden investigation. House Republicans are demanding more than 12 federal officials appear before them for transcribed interviews. The Judiciary Committee will be taking the lead on the Justice Department and FBI. Specifically, the Judiciary Committee wants U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss, to answer questions. And note, Weiss is made U.S. Attorney by President Trump. But it was at the recommendation of both Democratic senators from Delaware. That's the way it's done. Senators make recommendations to presidents. Now, the House Oversight Committee is looking into the Secret Service, and the House Ways and Means Committee is looking into the IRS. Member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Florida Congressman Greg Steube joins me. Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So what questions who do you want to talk to at the IRS, and what do you want to ask?
Well, Weiss, but it sounds like Judiciary is going to handle that, and we're going to bring in the other individuals from the IRS specifically who were trying to tell the IRS whistleblower that they couldn't investigate certain things, they couldn't do specific warrants, they couldn't put Hunter Biden's name in the different warrants and subpoenas. So anybody from the IRS that was involved in this, we're going to bring in and question them.
All right, the IRS is not supposed to be working, they're not supposed to be Republicans or Democrats, they're supposed to be working for the United States to collect revenue and to enforce our tax codes as well. All right, are you getting cooperation out of the IRS?
Well, after Shapley's testimony and his transcribed interview, suddenly things are starting to kind of move and unlock. He was part of the IRS, and he still is, but they moved him out of the investigative unit that was investigating Hunter Biden. So that tells you all you need to know about retaliation that's going on in the IRS. So far, they have not specifically denied our requests, but they're obviously playing slow walking and playing defense on a lot of these information.
All right, Shapley is obviously cooperating as a whistleblower, and he says someone moved him out when he was at some point. That who is a known. Do you know who that who is? Because Shapley, I assume, knows who moved him out, because that's the person I'd want to summon to the committee and say, did you move him out? Why? Yeah,
there's a number of different officials that he had named in his testimony that we would like to come and testify before the committee in a transcribed interview. And then after we do the transcribed interview, then the committee is going to look at that information. I would like to subpoena these individuals that he named, specifically his supervisors, and have them come in and ask them why they were slow walking these investigations, why they were telling him that Hunter Biden's name shouldn't be included in some of this information, why they weren't allowing him to talk to the big guy, because all of their investigations led to Joe Biden, but the IRS, the DOJ, and the FBI refused anything remotely turning to Joe Biden and wouldn't allow them to follow those leads. So I think we should talk to all of those people.
Just as an aside, Hunter Biden has those two tax charges. They're now misdemeanors, and it's been reported that he has paid the taxes that he owes on that. Do you know? Because one of the things that's the most painful when you have a tax problem is not necessarily the tax bill, but the incredible interest and the penalties that build up. Do you know that whether or not he has paid the full freight of penalties and interest on his unpaid taxes that he has now paid?
No, and because the IRS waited and slow-walked all of these investigations, there were payments that he received from foreign entities back to 2014, 2015, and the statute of limitations tolled. So they slow-walked all of these investigations so that the statute of limitations would toll on, I think it was like $400,000 worth of payments, was the whistleblower's testimony. So they slow-walked things, felonies, they slow-walked these charges so that they wouldn't be able to charge because the statute of limitations would toll.
All right, so once he did get this big tax bill on the $1.5 million for 1 year, $1.5 million for the next year, where did he get the money to pay the taxes? Because I assume that he went through that money pretty quickly, and then he didn't stash it someplace. I mean, where did he get the money to pay his tax bill? Because he's also saying in different, obviously he's lowered his payment in Arkansas. It was a high payment, child support payment though. But where did he get, what's the source of the money to pay his tax bill?
Well, a lot of it came from these foreign payments, and there was $2.2 million in taxes that he didn't pay, which were the underlying basis of some of these charges, which Weiss obviously downgraded to misdemeanors, and all of these were felony charges. And again, the statute of limitations told on a lot of these things that they were going after and investigating all the way dating back to 2014. So there's a lot of crimes here that the big guy was involved in, and this investigative team through the IRS was specifically told not to do that from the DOJ.
All right, I just want to correct one thing. You say there are a lot of crimes here. I don't know if there were crimes here. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this whole investigation, to see if there were any. I mean, I just want to make that statement. I don't necessarily believe that there are crimes. I believe that there's worthy of investigation, so we can see if something did happen. Congressman Greg Steube, thank you.
Yep, thank you.